Unai Emery needs to give him a real big pat on the back, because he's recognised what he is, what his strengths are, and he's also gets Jacob Ramsey around him. He gets Buendia around him, to make runs. John McGinn also will do it. If you see the Villa goals, every one of them's got 3 or 4 bodies in a box, and I think it's helped Ollie Watkins. And his performance yesterday was probably the best performance he's ever had in a Villa shirt, and he'll be signing a new deal very soon, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Because
isn't it interesting though? Because it wasn't that long ago we were talking about, will he stay at Aston Villa? It sort of felt like his future may have laid elsewhere, partly because maybe form wasn't really on his side. Also, he was in and out of the team, what we discussed yesterday as well. But now he very much deserves a new contract at Aston Villa. And
he's 27, so he's still, relatively young, and vultures always hang over football clubs. Other football clubs who are trying to be successful, they turn to players. Your Ivan Toney's had this issue because clubs have looked at him and they'll be taking him if he's available, and Brentford agree, because Brentford would sell at a certain price, like Brighton have sold certain players. Ollie Watkins is in that bracket. There will be a team that's playing Champions League football that go, Ollie Watkins, he does a lot of good things. He runs, his desire and effort is exceptional. He's got an eye for a goal. He's not, I wouldn't call a poacher in a way of getting goals on a regular basis, but he keeps making runs and getting in between defenders. And if he's on the end of it, he now looks like he's going to score more often than not.
It's the first time he's scored a double, actually, in a Premier League game since scoring twice at Arsenal in November 2020.
Do you remember we had that conversation?
Yeah.
Do you remember when we talked about Ollie only getting 1 goal and very rarely getting braces or a hat-trick?
Yeah, I do remember.
And his goals
Hence
number...
why I looked it up, because I thought I need to know that. But, I mean, in some ways, he's been scoring so regularly, it doesn't really matter if he's only scoring 1. But as I say, it's his first double for Aston Villa since 2020. And then just all round, Cass, it was a superb performance by Aston Villa. Newcastle, very much second best. And I like the honesty of Eddie Howe, where he said, look, we didn't deserve anything out of the game. Villa were a better side. It was a real statement victory put out by this Aston Villa side, who are on a resurgence. They've won 12 of their 18 matches since Unai Emery took over. Only the leaders Arsenal and Manchester City can match their tally of 38 points during this period as well. They're up to 6th in the table. I mean, I'm a bit scared because we're playing them next at home next weekend. So this is a team that we need to be taking seriously.
Oh, we do now. And that to me is totally down to the manager. Yeah. What he's getting out of a football team in so many ways. He's done a brilliant job, Unai Emery, I mean, yesterday, I tell you what Newcastle were like, Nat. They were like the first half against Brentford, which we were both at. They played 2 halves like that. They never really got going. Villa unsettled them. The desire to get into positions behind their back line, which was apparent. I don't think Botman's had a harder game this year, playing against Watkins and Dan Burnham, mentioned by Gabby, another one. And look, Villa were superb. That's the best I've seen Villa for years in that game yesterday. I thought they were terrific from the very start to right through to the end. They just caused... It could have been 4 or 5 comfortably. The keeper made Nick Pope a good few saves in the game as well. Terrific performance.
And as I mentioned, Gareth Southgate in attendance, he'll be absolutely delighted by the fact that Ollie Watkins is bang in form. There's also, and I think it's not the first time he's been talked about as someone for the England senior team, but Jacob Ramsey, who's been a part of the under-21 side but never been called up by Gareth Southgate. Is he someone you think it's not that far away now from the senior side?
Who, Ollie Watkins?
No, Jacob Ramsey.
Jacob. Oh, absolutely. I was thinking of him yesterday.
Yeah.
I was thinking of him as I'm watching the game, because he's got that ability to go from midfield and into the 18-yard box and looks like getting goals. And that is he did it early on in his Villa career because he got in as a very young man, a teenager, didn't he, into the Villa team. But now Jacob Ramsey looks like... he's getting trusted by an incredibly experienced manager who's won trophies. He trusts him to be... reliable for the team. And he always looks like he wants to get around that penalty spot. If things are dropping, he's coming onto them like he did for his goal yesterday. So, yeah.
Since, by the way, just to note with Jacob Ramsey, since the start of last season, only Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli have scored more Premier League goals amongst players aged 21 and under.
Can I give one mention to a senior player?
Go on.
Ashley Young.
Yes.
He was fantastic yesterday. He handled Anthony Gordon comfortably. He's 38 this summer. And I just thought Ashley Young was terrific yesterday in his performance. And, he's nicked the place of Matty Cash. The manager's gone with him in recent games. And Matty Cash has done well at Villa, but Ashley Young's, he's so selfless as a player. A bit like Ollie Watkins. Ollie Watkins will run all day for everybody. That's one of his biggest assets.